What's going on, guys? It's your boy Will from About Crypto here, and today we've got a special video. We're guested by another Web3 content creator, someone who's an expert on the AAA game coming out very soon, Illuvium. Really great YouTuber that I've been watching, and I get a genuine feeling from, which it's something I watch the most whenever I look into content creators to keep following. It's when I feel like they've got a genuine beat for what they're doing, and that's definitely the case here. You also run the podcast together with Scurrix Augment. So without further ado, welcome TSG. How you doing, bro?
Yo, I am good, man. Yo, that is one hell of an intro. God damn. No, I'm feeling good. Thanks for reaching out, man. I'm super excited. It's always yeah, like you mentioned, I do the podcast, so it's cool to be on the other side where I don't need to prepare anything and I can kind of just talk off cuff. So I'm happy to be here, man.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, I reached out to you first off, like being the first one I wanted on the show because I get a genuine feeling from you. And I like all the hype from a lot of other people. I don't buy it. And it's when I feel good about someone, I want to chat with them. I want to get connected. So that's why you're on here. I want to hear what you're sharing, what you've got, like the knowledge you've got as well, and share that with my audience. So pretty cool. Look, with that said, like, let's chat some gaming and Web3. You excited?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I also do want to clarify one thing. I'm not going to claim to be an expert. I'm a very big enthusiast.
That's my
but I do know quite a bit. I should know quite a bit, but I'm not going to claim expert. So if there's things I don't know, don't come at me.
Exactly, bro. I saw you did the video the other day where you like tiered all the new Illuvitars and stuff coming, and you went on for like an hour talking about them. You are like devoted to this game. I'm excited to talk a bit about that and just Web3 gaming in general. So let's start with off with like your background in Web3 and creating content as well. How do you get into it?
Okay, so my background in Web3 in general is kind of. So I essentially started like with the whole pandemic thing, right? There's most people, I think that was the case. But actually, I started taking my finances more seriously when that happened. So, but I wasn't in crypto at all. I was completely in the traditional equities, and I had like 5% in crypto, which was the Bitcoin Ethereum split, right? And over time, one of my friends has no traditional stocks, only has crypto, and he's like, "Yo, 5%'s too low," so I put it up to 10. 10% is too low, put it up to 15, and it just kept on going and going. And the more I kind of just learned about it and learned about the space, I was like, yo, this makes sense. Like, this just makes sense. And like, I think I was hovering around that 15%, again, just Bitcoin and ETH. And I think the thing that really kind of put me over was, thank God for the YouTube algorithm, but they kind of just presented to me a whole play to earn video. And that was my introduction. And I was like, yo, this concept is fascinating. And it wasn't actually the earning thing that was fascinating. It was the ownership. Ownership of the things inside the game. As soon as I figured that out, I was like, I don't care about the earning fact. I got goosebumps right now saying this. Like, I don't care about actual goosebumps. I don't care about the earning thing because I don't think that was sustainable. I never thought that was sustainable. But the ownership side of things just changed it completely. And I was like, all right, now that I know that that's a real thing, I need to find out what the best or what I think has the best chance of actually making it in this space, because all the games I was looking at were trash. And Illuvium came out to be, I was like, yo, this is the game that I would want to play. So that's how I got into Illuvium. Into content creation, I did try back in the day doing like Harry Potter games, but I was trying to but I just had it was weird. Playing alone on a game and trying to make jokes just by yourself is a very strange thing to do. And you have to cut it up and edit it out. It's a very, very strange thing to do. So I was like, oh man, I'm just not going to do it. And then Illuvium came out. I started building a bit of a reputation in the Discord. And I was like, yo, I think I understand a lot of the questions that are being asked. Like, I think I get it. And I think I can add value. I think that, I don't think there was a personality like me. I think Vulcan, a massive shout out to Vulcan. For those who don't know, Vulcan is an amazing content creator. Apart from him, I was like, yo, I think no one else is kind of giving a perspective that I could. So I was like, yo, let me throw my hat in the ring. Like, I care about this game. I am invested, full disclosure. It makes sense for me to put it down. And that's essentially how I started. I kind of just did it.
I like that was about
4 months ago. February 19th, I kind of told you as well. February 19th is the day of my first video.
Very cool. I like that a lot because I've been doing content creation, not in Web3, but in general with my own business for the past 3 years or so. And it started very similar for me as well. It's like I'm reading up, I'm doing my own research to start my own business, and I see people asking a lot of questions that I've like just figured out, like I've just researched, and
Yeah.
there's not too many people out there that's helpful and want to like give value. And I
Mm.
realized if I can do that, if I can literally, I've just researched this myself, if I create content on this, helping those who are just one step behind me, like I stand out and I'm able to
Yeah.
make a difference, you know, in other people's lives and their journey and whatever it might be. But also it's
Yeah.
gonna be gaining for me. It's truly a win-win situation. And I like what you
Yeah.
said there, like you being that in the Discord, like realizing there's not a whole lot of people who've done the research
Mm.
I do or like actually help people in that way. So
Yeah.
it's very cool to hear.
Yeah.
How
I do want to add one thing, and because I just want to actually put this out there just on record, like for real, like another thing that I did think about, and I just want to be fully transparent about this, was all of the content creators that I saw were, I can't believe I'm saying, were white. And there's no problem with that. But the truth is, like, we relate to people that look like us. That's just how the world kind of is.
yeah.
And everyone that kind of looked like me either had a non-native English accent, being like they were from different countries. And I was like, oh, that's fine. There's nothing against that. But I hadn't seen like someone that looked like me, that had the confidence like me, that could speak like me.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, if I could absolutely take that role. I could absolutely be the guy that looks like me, that feels themselves, that can kind of put that out. And people that look like me, that speak like me, would gravitate towards me. That's the way I kind of saw it. And I was like, yo, I want to be transparent about that and be like, yo, that was actually the thing where I was like, yo, I have the knowledge and I had this thing where I know people would enjoy it and like me if I could do it properly. And clearly it seems to be working.
Bro, that's so fucking cool. I love to
Yeah.
hear that. Just inspiring others, you know, exactly. And it's
Mm.
like there's this like it's not even competitive with other people. It's like you will attract the people that like get drawn to you.
It's
Who
just,
feel like
yeah,
that if they get attracted more to you than they do to me because they relate more to
yeah,
you than they do to me. I love that, man.
pretty much.
Being
Yeah,
just a role model to others in
yeah.
such a great way. It's so cool to hear. How as a gamer though, how was the transition for you going from Web 2 to Web 3? Was it like instant, like, oh my God, this is like ownership, this is my gig, like I'm all in on
Yeah.
this? Or was it like more skeptical, like, oh, I'm hearing
No.
this crypto gaming thing?
Now it was pretty much straight away. Like obviously, like when you say like physically, have we transitioned completely? No, we haven't at all, because
Of
there's
course.
no game that really kind of does it on that level yet. Mentally, yeah, it was super easy for me. It was like, again, the same way that you hold your ETH, you hold your Bitcoin in your own wallets now, and it's up to you. Like the someone could come and kill you, but if they don't have your seed phrase, they physically cannot take that value away from you. So like that concept was understood already, and now you just apply that to games. It's like, man, people spend billions of dollars on Fortnite skins, and if the game goes down, that's it. It's done. So
Yeah.
like I remember I was in love with Borderlands 3. And I ground no, this massive, for anyone that used to play that game, there was like a Halloween special where there was a special gun called the Yellow Cake, and it was OP as hell. I grinded that out for so long to try to get the best one. And now that I stopped playing, it's done. Like I wasted
Yeah.
all of that time. And the moment I realized is like, yo, what if I owned that? Like now I don't even play the game, but I could have sold it, right? Like that just made so much of sense to me. It wasn't even a stretch. Like there was no mental gymnastics. It was pretty straightforward.
Dude, tell me about it. I'm a big FIFA gamer. I don't know if you've played
Yeah.
FIFA, but
Yeah. What about you? Yeah, man. I don't want to just talk about me. What about you? Was it hard for you?
bro, for me it was instant. Really was like my friend introduced it to me. He's a big crypto guy and he knows I do content. He's like, bro, you should do gaming content. I'm like, or like gaming crypto content. Like, I don't know. He's like, no, bro, you can earn from like playing games and like you own the NFTs. I'm like, what? That's a thing? Like I've been playing games for
Yeah.
free all my life and like paying to do all these things in
Yeah.
game. Now you're telling me I can actually maybe even make money down the line, but actually own the things that I'm buying and then like resell them on the marketplace. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm all in. So it was instant for me when I learned about it. But
Yeah.
I've played FIFA ever since I was a kid, and around maybe like FIFA 12 or so, FIFA Ultimate Team became really big, which you see in other EA games now as well, where you buy cards for in-game coins and
Yeah.
you build
EA's
this.
wild with that shit.
Yeah, it's so crazy, man. And you buy packs in order, like real money. You
Mm.
buy packs in order to get the best players. And every year they come out with a new game, and I swear they
The old one
changed
is
like what
obsolete.
is it? Yeah, it's absolutely
It's
like what you played
obsolete.
in the past, and it's like almost exactly the same game. Like all FIFA gamers know this, but they're so
Yeah,
fucking addicted to the game that they
it's
keep doing it. And I've
it's
wasted
wild.
so much money on like, okay, FIFA 12, now wasting money on FIFA 13, wasting money on FIFA 14. What if I could like have a chance to like make that money back, like sell off my players, own them in a real way? And
Mhm.
so it's nuts. Like I don't
Yeah,
understand how more regular gamers are jumping on board and like
I think.
understanding the
Yeah,
potential. What do you think about that? Do you have friends who are
yeah,
skeptical?
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And it's actually an idea. I'm going to put it out there again. I'm going to be completely transparent, by the way. I've got an idea for a podcast where I do want to have one of these guys on, like one of my friends on, who's mad skeptical, and just have that debate because like it's just wild. Like the shit they think about is wild,
Yeah.
and it's very like it's crazy because they've been primed by the current system that they think the new one's gonna be worse, and it's so crazy. Like they're so in the whole like the one biggest thing that I always hear about it is like, oh, it's elitist. Having to pay for things in the game is elite. I'm like, but it's already happening right
Yeah.
now. Like it's already they're like, oh, it's a way to grab money. It's happening right now. Right now, when you pay money, the company earns 100% and you get nothing. It's done. In this new system we're talking about, you pay and the company gets 100%. Yes, when they the first thing, and then they get a percentage on top of that. So the revenue doesn't stop at the first sale. Their revenue increases. It's beneficial for them, but then you get the majority of that too. So it's beneficial for you. So it's so
Yeah.
like, but I think for like gamers that don't understand it, for them it's very it's more micro transactions, or they're afraid. I think the biggest thing that they're afraid of is pay to win. That's the biggest thing that I hear.
Hmm.
Oh, but what if I don't have enough money? I can't get the best thing. So it's like, and my counter argument, and I want to hear yours as well. My counter argument, because I think that's a real risk, right? The pay to win thing. And you see that when you
Yeah.
say EA, Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I think crypto and NFTs don't have anything to do with pay to win. I think that's still the project and the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
I think gamers are going to start to choose not to participate in pay to win games. They'll choose games like Fortnite, where there's still transactions, you can buy skins, and the technology still exists, but it has nothing to do with the actual gameplay side of things at all. So I think that they kind of look very much at the pay to win aspect, but they don't realize that that's not the only option there is. But I'm keen to know, like, what's your take on that? Do you think pay to win in crypto is going to be a real thing?
Um, I honestly don't know about that. I don't. I think I don't think like you like I don't think it needs to be pay to win. I don't see the like it to be necessary because I know like you mentioned Fortnite. And I know when I play Fortnite, like there's still in-game transactions, like you say, people buy skins. And even though it's not pay to win, when someone comes and up against you with a skin from season 1 and it's in season 7 now, you know that guy's a fucking baller anyway.
All
So it's
right.
like almost like you still know he's good as fuck. Like he doesn't need to do the pay to win, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. I think
Yeah.
right now, what I've heard from talking with other friends, and I'm telling them like, oh, I'm getting into this crypto gaming stuff, and they're like, crypto, ha ha ha, NFTs, ha ha ha, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, how much money you made on that NFT? I'm like, I didn't make any money on the NFT yet. I'm playing with it in game. Like, but like my worst case scenario, losing all the money on it, is your only scenario where you're buying the skin and
Yeah.
losing everything. Like, how
Yeah.
wild is it that I don't
It's
know.
crazy.
At the
It's
at the
crazy if
same,
they don't figure that out. It's like, yo, our worst case scenario is your everyday scenario. Yeah, it's
exactly.
wild, man. It's
Exactly.
wild.
And I think that creates like friction as well, where like very easy as a Web3 gamer to like look down and like bash Web2 gamers when we try to onboard them. And I think it's so important to educate and don't blame, but it's so
Yeah,
hard,
yeah, yeah.
man. What do you
It's
think will
very yeah.
what do you
I
think
try not
will
to. I try not to shit on him. It's like we were there, right? We were there. It takes time. It takes time.
exactly. What do you think will onboard more Web2 gamers?
Two things. Good games, which Illuvium currently seems to be the best pick coming up. So a fully AAA games, that's going to be one thing. And just, I would say, I'm trying to figure out how to word this properly. I don't want to say onboarding, because the whole concept of, I'll say onboarding. Yeah, like I'm going to generalize the word onboarding. Like the whole concept of, oh, yo, you need to make a wallet. Man, Web2 people aren't interested in that. Like, you need to make a wallet, transfer this, and then put. That's too many steps already. Essentially, what you want to do is open the game, click on buy whatever character you want. If that's what you need to do to start the game, that's it. Like, that's all that. So ease of accessibility is the biggest thing. And then I think it's the AAA quality games. Because I think you could have as many AAA quality games, but if the shit is still complex as hell, like, people aren't going to do that. But I think if you have it super, super accessible, even if the games aren't as good, people are more willing to try it out because they're like, oh, it's no effort by me. I can just test it out. My thoughts. I don't know how accurate that is, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
I think that's a very, very sane approach to it. Do you think that will make mobile games, like mobile Web3 games, be more popular before we see desktop games coming? Because of, yes, like, hey, you pull up your phone and you play the game. You don't need to connect your wallet in a way that you might need with a desktop game.
Yeah. So if you'd still, actually, I don't know how mobile games are going to be. Like, if you're still going to need a wallet or you need to connect it somehow. But let's say the onboarding thing is solved, right? The ease of accessibility is solved. And you compare mobile phones to PCs or desktops. Mobile phones is definitely, like, look at the numbers today. I forget the numbers exactly, but like, the vast majority of games are on mobiles. And then you look at like, again, I'm in China right now. Again, I'm doxing myself. I don't really care. Like, the majority of people here, like, especially female gamers and stuff, they're not playing on PCs, on desktops. They're playing on mobile phones. Kids aren't playing on desktops. Kids have mobile phones. So again, the accessibility, we're not now talking about the accessibility of funds. We're talking about accessibility of actually playing the game. Everyone, I think the stat is what, 2/3 of the global population has a smartphone now.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain less than 2/3 of the global population has a decent desktop to play games on. So I think mobile is going to be huge, and I think it's just going to be massive until, like, VR glasses and shit pop up. I think that's a different thing. 10 years, like 10, 15, I'm gonna say. Yeah.
So you mentioned Illuvium. What got you into Illuvium, and why are you so excited about the game?
Okay, so like I said, the YouTube algorithm kind of just blessed me with play to earn and crypto gaming. And obviously the first thing that any sane person would do was the best play to earn games. Like, so I looked up the best play to earn games, and all the games were pretty trash. So the next step is best upcoming play to earn games. So I kind of went through that, and I was like, what am I actually looking forward to? What actually seems like it's decent? There was a couple big time looked cool. Ember Sword looked cool. I do want to shine some light on the other ones. Star Atlas, it looks cool, but I'm very, very skeptical about. Like, it reminds me a lot of Cyberpunk. That's all I'll say. Like I think we're gonna have to wait a long time for them to actually do what they need to do. I think that's gonna be like a 6 or 7 year wait if they really want to do the shit that they really want, like, say they want to do. And I'm hopeful, man, because that shit would be sick.
Yeah.
But I think that's like a 7-8 year like, that's a long time. So I was like, I'm not even gonna bother looking at that yet. I'll keep my eye on it, but I'm not gonna focus. And Illuvium popped up, and just the concept, man, like, a bit. So you can see back here, like, I'm actually a competitive Smash Bros player. So shit. I love, So I love mental games. Like, I love very, like, yo, like, let me outsmart you type of games. I love that intellectual shit. And a lot of people don't think Smash is that type of way, but it is. And it's like, yo, how do I push you to a position where you're forced to react in the way that I want? How can I read you in that way? And I think Illuvium pretty much was that. And it was like, take away the reaction time. It's just mental against mental. And I was like, this looks sick. And then the idea of, yo, you go out to the open world like Pokemon, which looks a lot better than Pokemon.
Yeah.
And you go and catch those things. And so the concept is super, super simple. And when I compared that to Star Atlas, where I'm like, yo, that shit's going to take fucking, can I swear? I'm so sorry.
Yo, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah. Cool. I was like, yo, that shit's going to take fucking ages to build that if they can. What Illuvium is promising seems so doable. a small open world game where it's not a massive multiplayer open world game. It's like, yo,
Right.
you have set things, set areas. You go there, you explore it, you capture them, you come back, you battle it. Like all the segments that they kind of laid out. I was like, one, super interesting. I love the idea already, and it's super doable. I believe that they can do it. It's not yo, this is crypto and we're gonna give you the world. It's like, no, we're gonna give you a game that we can actually build. And I was like, that to me seemed very, very obvious that was going to be the thing. And then I listened to Kieran, and cause I'm from Australia, so listening to another Australian, I was like, yeah, man, I feel that energy. And I have a brother as well, and we are so competitive. So hearing that competitive side, and like me and my brother also very confident. So hearing the way he spoke, and I was like, yeah, man, I sensed that. I understand that energy, because that's the same energy that me and my brother have. It's like, no, we're not gonna let people beat us. Like, nah, like, yo, that whole, like, it was just very much like, yo, the idea was amazing. And then I learned about the team, and I was like, yo, it's a no for me, not financial advice, guys. For me, it was a no-brainer. And I was like, I need to look more into this. Yeah.
Oh man, you described the game so fucking well. I think what got me into, like, I did a similar thing, you know, just Google like best upcoming NFT games, and they mentioned like, oh, it's almost like Pokemon, and then you take your characters out into the open world and like you play there and you can play with friends, and like, holy shit, this game seems fucking wild. When is this coming out? How would you describe
and the quality, right? The most like the idea is dope, the team is dope, and the quality of the shit we were seeing was legendary. And like I don't know if you've got access to private beta, but do you have access to private beta?
I don't.
All right, yeah. Well, I'm gonna rub it in your face. That shit is fire, man.
The FOMO is fire,
real.
Bro.
I was watching, sick, man.
I was watching the open world leak that came out like maybe it was a week or two ago, and it just looks so good. It just looks so good.
Yeah, and like it's still, because I talked to a couple of the other like community people, and that have access to it, and they're like, man, we're playing like the old version of the open world, and it's so good. Like you guys, and I'm like, man, if these. It's real out here. And Grant, yeah, for those who don't, like, do you know like the whole Aaron, Grant, and Kieran thing? Like
I know of brothers? Kieran.
Okay, so like the whole thing is it's co-founded by 3 brothers, right? So you've got Kieran Warwick, which is like the entrepreneur marketing guy. You've got Aaron Warwick, which is the game designer. He's just like a genius. Like I'm pretty sure he's certified genius. And then you've got Grant Warwick, and he's like regarded as like in the top 10 best CGI artists in the world, and they're all brothers, and they're all competitive as hell. So like all of them were out here being like, yo, I'm gonna do the best thing that I can do for this, and I'm gonna do it better than you, blah blah blah. And like Grant Warwick's like done shit with like Lord of the Rings. Like he's been out here, fam. Like he's out here. So and for him, there's a reason why the game looks the way it does, and it's not gonna be beat, in my opinion. Like he's not gonna let that shit happen at all. Yeah. So like seeing that's why I say when I see Kieran and like the brothers thing, I was like, man, because me and my brother are the same thing. Like I was talking to you before about how I'm going to be starting doing TikTok and stuff. My brother does that. Like my brother is a content creator manager, and he has like his own film business and whatnot. So he's now going to be helping me to push my thing. And it's like, when I look at that, I'm like, yo, no one is ready now. Like no one is going to catch up. If me and my brother are working on this together, it's the same thing I see when I see the 3 brothers. I'm like, no one is going to catch up to them. No way. Like, there's no chance.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong. This is just me being very, very outlandish and saying the shit that I feel, but I could be very wrong, but I just don't think I am.
The game looks so good, man. And I can tell like the graphics and everything from I've seen from the game, it just looks so clean, and like the characters move exactly like you'd want to. The environment interacts with the character exactly like you want to. The things you can do are so dope. What games would you describe Illuvium like be similar to? Because you've got like the Pokemon aspect where you battle it out, then you've got the open world aspect, more like Destiny or Far Cry or Elder Scrolls, something like that. What would you describe and be similar?
So I would say, so there's two main things, right? So you've got the overworld and then the auto battler. So the overworld, I would say, is just a much more polished Pokemon. So imagine, let me put it like that. Yeah, okay, cool. For anyone that's played Pokemon recently, like the Pokemon Sword and Shield or Pokemon Arceus, imagine that, but actually in 2022. Like actually that, but with actual graphics, with a proper thing where you're actually going out in the world, you can actually explore it, and it looks decent. It doesn't look like it's made 10 years ago. So it's that's the overworld, and you're going out exploring. You have instances that you go into, and it's just like when you're in the grass in Pokemon when it goes. So it's just like that, and then you go into battle them. If you kill them, if you don't kill them, but if you defeat them, you can capture them, and then they become part of your team or your deck. So that's the overworld is essentially a it's a much more polished Pokemon. That's very simple. You don't need to like inflate that and then do other shit with that. And then the Order Battler is, I've never had experience with this genre before, but Order Battler is pretty much, it's just like the two major games in that genre are TFT, Teamfight Tactics, which is a League of Legends spinoff, or Dota Underlords. I think that's the name of it, Dota Underlords. So it's an auto battler, and those are the two, or auto chess. Those are the three kind of things that you could reference for that. It's very hard to explain if you haven't played that before. But look, just watch any one of those videos somewhere, and you kind of understand it. Or you can come to my channel and just watch what the auto battler looks like, and you kind of figure it out as well.
100%. By the way, anyone looking to check out TSG stuff, of course, we'll cover it in the end, but all of the links are down below in the description. So do you think like Illuvium will be the biggest NFT or Web3 game coming over the next year? And why? Like, more, is it just because of how well they've run the whole project, because of the game itself? What do you think?
Okay, so my macro thesis on Illuvium specifically is not necessarily that Illuvium is going to be the biggest game. It's actually that Illuvium Studios or Illuvium Labs is going to be the biggest studio, gaming studio in Web3. So, because there's a chance that there might be another game that comes out, like, who knows, right? There's a chance the game might flop. Who knows? There are a lot of variables that we don't know. But again, my belief in the three brothers is that they're not going to let a failure set them back, and they're going to go out. But truth be told, I do think that Illuvium is going to do very well. And my reason for that is, again, this is just all my perspective. None of this is for sure. So my reason for that is, I believe it's a very similar thing to Tesla. Let me explain. So Tesla had a huge advantage in the EV market space, being like Ford, General Motors, all of those were still doing gas. And now this, like, Tesla is so far ahead with how fast they're manufacturing that none of the legacy companies can catch up. It doesn't matter how much money they have, they don't have the infrastructure, and they can't transition fast enough to actually ramp up the way they need to. And I think Illuvium is going to do the same thing. So I think Illuvium, if they get the game out first, the first AAA game out, and they've already got their team set, they're all kind of already working, and they've got the infrastructure already, they're just going to ramp up, and no one else is going to be able to catch up. That's the way I kind of see it. So I think it's super, super important for them to put that first game out and be the first, like what's the word when it's the first to market? I forget the phrase for it.
Yeah, not on top of my head either.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm trying to say. It's like when you're first to market and you get the majority of the market share, it's very easy to kind of hold on to that and then kind of develop on top of that. Whereas if you come in second, you're trying to take it away from someone else, and it's not a very good position to be in. So it's a tough one. It's like we want to be first to market, but we also want to be, we don't want to cyberpunk this shit, and we want to actually have a good polished game out. If they do that, it's game over for everyone. Long run, I think Illuvium Labs is just going to kill it. They've got, like, think about the opportunities, man. Like Mario Kart games with these characters, with this IP. Mario Kart games, Super Smash Brother games, Diablo-esque type games, first-person shooter games, which is not far from what they've already kind of built. The possibilities are endless, and they've already got a solid team. So I'm looking at Illuvium for the next 5-10 years easy. Like that's my macro thesis on Illuvium specifically.
Yeah,
that could change, but yeah. What about you, man? Because how long have you been in Illuvium, and what's your, like, what do you think?
I just want to say it's so cool to hear you say that, and I'll quote Jordan Belfort on that. Like, it's so cool to hear you say that. That's why I want to have you on, because you think about shit like that, and most people don't think about shit like that.
Really?
You know,
I thought everyone thinks like this.
It's a very clever way to put it, and it's something we're gonna talk about later on with GTA as well. I like what the theory you had on the GTA crypto news coming, but what do I see Illuvium going? I think the game itself is just looks really, really good. The graphics looks great. I think they've already set a very, very strong foundation in terms of the community and in terms of creators, because I think it's one of the games that have the most creators talking about them. And if you Google like any NFT
Yeah.
games like coming up, top 5, top 3, etc., like you're gonna
Illuvium's
see
always 1 or 2.
it's
Yeah, Illuvium's
always
always
there.
1 or 2.
There's
Yeah.
no doubt. Like there's no doubt. They've just set such a strong foundation. And you talking about the team there as well, it just makes me even more bullish on it. So do we have a release date for all the Illuvium, like the open world beta and stuff? I've heard
Yeah. I mean, it was meant to be end of Q2, but honestly, like there's no official date. I'm hoping, I won't say it's what I think. I'm hoping for end of Q4. I think like I'm being realistic. I don't want to give like, oh man, it's gonna. I just think like, I think end of Q4 or Q1 2023. Any later than that, I think we're gonna be in trouble for like that first to market thing that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Any later than Q1 of 2023, I think we're gonna have to start reassessing and seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's yeah. That's all. I'll say that.
Obviously, you mentioned the mental game as well, and loving that part of games. So I'm more excited about the open world because I'm more into that. What are you more excited about, the battling or the open world?
Both. I think as a content creator, the open world is going to be so much fun. Like the streaming and trying to capture it. You find the hollow and be like, oh shit! Like the hype is going to be cool, and it'll be much easier to do. But as a gamer, I think like it's gonna be like when I'm creating content, overworld is gonna be much more fun. When I just want to play and like personally have a good time, I think the battles, because it's like, again, I could call you up and be like, yo man, you down to put some money on? Let's go. Let's have a good time. Like, and we can see like, yo, who's actually better out of this, and like there'll be good content out of it. But it's very like, if I'm streaming, I can't be having a serious game like that and trying to talk to chat. That's not a possibility.
Yeah.
So like they're both going to be, and that's what excites me about Illuvium. Like both, it's not like, oh, one is more exciting than the other. It's like I'm both equally excited for different reasons. And that's just because sometimes you want to kind of switch your brain off, and that's the overworld.
100%.
You want to just be the best, and that's competitive. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about you? What are you excited for?
I'm more excited about the open world stuff myself, but also like we talk about like capturing and just battling with them as well. Like the mix there where like it matches together so well, very similar to Pokemon, and I think that's why it's going to be
the same.
It's going to be
exactly
so
the same.
Successful and I've heard Gary Vee talk a lot about this, how like nostalgia is so underrated, and I think that's true for Illuvium. Like gamers like me, like from our generation, like from the 90s and stuff, will jump on Illuvium because it's so similar to Pokemon and what we used to play as kids.
And Pokemon is trash now. I'm so sorry. Like Pokemon is I made a full video about this, and this is when I first started, so the video wasn't that popular, but like, man, Pokemon is the highest grossing franchise in the world. Look at the games they're putting out, man. It's absolute trash. They're physically putting out Pokemon that looks like trash. Like it's a trash can. It's a pile of rubbish is the Pokemon. That is actually what's going on. Like it's ridiculous. And for people like us, it's like, man, we're not gonna do this shit. An ice cream cone? Like, nah, get out of here, fam. Whereas with Illuvium, it's like the nostalgic thing of, oh, we want that collecting thing, we want the battle. And now we have a Ramfire, like a fire dragon.
Yeah.
Now we have a Seer. Like, yo, he's tanked out like an armadillo. Like, yo, are you joking? Now we have like a Doka who's like a fighter. That shit, like, it's an adult Pokemon. It looks like it's built for us. And I'm excited. I think it's the best of, again, I might be wrong and who knows, but I think the IP of Illuvium is the birth of something crazy. And we're about to see some crazy shit. And I might be wrong, but I'd rather believe in some shit than not.
Talking about another open world game that's been really hot in the Web3 articles lately is GTA. There were some news being released that they've got some cryptocurrency, Bitcoin stuff coming to the GTA6 game. And talk about a game that's got insane longevity. Yeah. I mean, GTA 5 got released in what, like 2013? And we're still gaming it?
Correct. Yeah. So it's 9 years. And we'll probably be gaming it for another 2 years, at least 1 or 2 years. So yeah.
It's
A
nuts.
decade. The
I
game's
mean,
been out for a decade. Yeah.
still this whole spring, me and my friends have been doing like GTA races every Sunday because the game is so
Oh
fucking fun.
wow.
And it was
Yeah.
released like 10 years ago. It's nuts. But
Yeah.
anyhow, it got leaked that there might be some Bitcoin cryptocurrency coming to GTA 6. And I was
Yep.
excited when I heard that. And the Take-Two CEO, which is the parent company of Rockstar, has also said
Yep.
he's highly convinced that NFTs will play a big role in future games that they create. And I'm like, holy shit, maybe there's cryptocurrency in GTA 6. Then I watched your video on it, and you had another take that it might just be some like joke in the storyline and stuff. What do you think about it?
Like, okay, so my thoughts on it are, because I did do a bit more research, and the leak seems to indicate that it's not. So the headline was, yo, GTA 6 is going to do crypto. Essentially, that's what it's. That was just the headline, and I was like, yo, that shit's so clickbait. Like it doesn't actually give much information at all. It's just so like, oh, Web3, here you go.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I need to look into it. And so essentially, what I came up with and what I found out was, it's more likely. And I'm more than happy to be wrong. I'd love to see GTA 6 actually do some crazy shit with NFTs. Because again, that I think, let me start with this. I think if they do that, GTA is not a pay to win game. So that is going to win over a lot of the Web2 game as to seeing what NFTs actually does in games. Because it's not, GTA 6 is not a pay to win game. It's, yo, you want that car? Cool, now it's an NFT. You want this apartment? Cool, now it's an NFT. So I think they'll start to understand that. They'll,
That'd be
like
fucking sick. Yeah.
If that happens, that's insane. That's going to be massive. What I think is more than likely going to happen, and based on what I researched, is I think it's going to be in the narrative of the game. How like in GTA 5, you did the stock market manipulation missions, and you had access to the stock market. Yeah. I think they're going to introduce a crypto market in the game. So I like, in my theory is, GTA is always known for doing like parodies and just shit takes. So I think they might do something where they might meme it and put it as like, oh, yo, you do this, you earn some crypto, but it goes to zero. Yeah. But I think more than like that's just my personal like specific take. But I think more than likely they'll do something with crypto in the narrative, whether it's positive, negative, maybe it's just a part of it. You have cash and crypto in the game. I think that's more than likely than going NFTs. Yeah. And that's based on what I was looking at as well. Like the leaks seem to indicate that more than the introducing NFTs, or you could like, because that's going to be massive.
That would be
I think that's a huge jump. Yeah.
I've been thinking about it a lot, man. I've been thinking about it a lot.
Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think?
No, I 100% agree with you. Because I've been thinking about it, like, how could they incorporate that into GTA? Because like it's been so weird, like in-game transactions. I don't know the numbers, but I feel like nobody buys those shark cards that they've got, or like maybe a few people do. But it was so, I know in the early days it was so easy to hack and get money through hacking. So I never even considered buying money in the game because I knew I could go to the freaking mod shop, duplicate my Lamborghini, and get like more money and sell it. Like it was stupid. Yeah, like I'm never buying any shark cards. But
I think
I was wondering. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'll say this real quick. I think sorry to cut you off, but I really want to say this. I think if they're really smart about it, and I'm theorizing, I'm like making this theory up right now. I think if they're really, really smart, what they would do is they would put the like crypto in the narrative, but set things up to implement it later. So maybe 5 years down the track, implement it so NFTs can come in. Exactly. So don't close themselves off to the idea completely. Like leave it open and kind of build the systems and infrastructure already, but just don't utilize it from the get-go. Kind of build up the narrative, do that shit inside the game, get the mass amount of audience. And once people are really, really about the narrative, and then there's like fun things you can do inside the narrative, then flip the switch on and make it a real thing and come out with a GTA coin or some shit, whatever it's going to do. I'm making this up right now off the top, but I think that would be an incredible marketing thing to do, especially because if they don't, let's say 3 to 5 years later, when crypto is more stable or more accepted, it means that the game is still like relevant. You know what I mean? And it's still like, oh, yo, it's still going to be the best legacy game that's really incorporating crypto like that. It's just a lot of benefits. I don't know if they're
Dude,
going to do that.
I
But
100%, I
yeah,
100% could see that happening. And because I thought myself, like, how could they incorporate it? And I was like, I don't know how they're going to do that. And then I watched your video and like, oh, it's probably just a joke, like in a narrative or like something
yeah,
happens in the storyline. I'm like, fuck, TSG is smart. He's right about this. Like, it's so Rockstar to do exactly that. I'm
yeah,
like, dang it. No, like no crypto and Rockstar. But I think you're right. Like, I think that's clever because we've seen them do stuff like that in the past, like the casino that they had, which
mm,
for 8 years or something did nothing. It was just a building. And then we saw maybe it was like 4 years ago or something,
yeah,
they incorporated the casino DLC where it's now actually a legit thing. And
yeah,
they probably thought about that, like when they made the game,
yeah.
like we can incorporate this
That's
now.
why it lasts 10 years. Yeah, that's why it lasts 10 years. They've thought
Exactly,
about this
bro.
shit. Yeah,
So I could definitely
yeah,
see that being the case where they're doing something in the storyline and like they bringing that back like in the online multiplayer like 5 years later or something. Very clever. But
yeah,
what you talked about earlier though, like how dope would it be if like the offices and like the apartments that people have were NFTs? Because
mm,
now or like even like 7 years ago, like it got to a point where everybody could afford everything online and everybody
mhm,
has the exact same thing, exact same cars and exact
yeah,
same offices, exact same apartments, exact same planes, whatever it might be. There's nothing unique about it, which was a cool
yeah,
thing in the beginning. I
yeah.
remember I had found and stolen like one of the, I think it's called Adder, one of the Bugatti Veyrons in the game in storyline. And I told my friend, he's like, holy shit, you've got that car. I can't believe how you even like feel tempted to even drive it. I would just have it in my garage. It's so beautiful, like so valuable. I'm like, yeah, like it was a cool thing to it. But now it's like, oh,
Mm,
you got a flying motorcycle. Everybody does, you know? But if
yeah.
they incorporate the NFT, like, okay, we've got 10,000 of these offices like going out, like be the first to buy it. I think something like that would be cool.
Yeah, so I think legitimately, like if they really do that, I think it makes a lot more sense for them to go with the NFTs for the apartments and properties to make it scarce, just because it adds more value. And again, like what we said right at the start of the video, if they're smart about it, one, it brings value to the players because they have a scarce asset that if they sell back, they get generate revenue. And secondly, they can generate a hella revenue from the secondary sales. You put a 2% royalty, like
Yeah.
whatever. So it's just like it just makes so much sense. And again, like if you think about the content that gets created, again, like I think about decentralized marketing and whatnot. And GTA doesn't actually have to do that much marketing anyway because it's GTA. But if people have unique, like right now, like you say, everyone's on YouTube. Yo, I got the best apartment. Everyone has the best apartment.
Yeah.
But if you start making unique experiences for people, that's going to be insane marketing. That's going to be natural marketing that you didn't have to do anything like for. You kind of just put the plate, like the pieces on the board, and you let the people do their thing. Easy.
Yeah.
So, but I also don't think GTA needs that much marketing. Like GTA is GTA for a reason. But I think it'd be nice. I think there's just way too many benefits, honestly.
Yeah.
But also, I'm not a marketing genius. I
Yeah.
think I am,
And that's
but I
all
think
of
I
Web.
am, but yeah,
And that's all of Web3 gaming, isn't it? It's just too many opportunities, just too many good benefits to it. And I think it's our job to educate the Web2 gamers and get them on board
yeah,
with Web3. We've got some very cool games coming up, like Illuvium, like we've talked about. And I think the more of these chats that we have, the more people will be able to jump on and join us,
yeah.
and we'll see the gaming industry in of itself is growing. Because I thought a few years ago, what's like gaming got kind of boring for me, and like what's going to take it to the next step? I think it's
Yeah.
VR, but it was not VR. And now I see
It's
Web3, like,
ownership.
okay, like
Yeah.
Web3 is definitely taking gaming to the next step for me, where like I'm owning all my NFTs and everything I buy in
Yeah.
game. So, bro, I
Yeah.
want to thank you so much for jumping on and just being the mastermind that you are. And please, where can people find you? I know you're on Twitter. You're not very much on Twitter, but you've got your YouTube channel. Tell everybody what you're a part
Yeah.
of.
Yeah. I do all right on Twitter. I'm just very bad with DMs on Twitter. So yeah, hit me on Twitter. I do post once in a while. I usually share my content on there, and I'm just about. So Twitter is TSG__7. I'm sure you put that all in the link in the description. I've got that. I've got my YouTube channel, TSG Illuvium and NFT Gaming. Again, all of that will be on down below. So that's where I focus on my Illuvium and NFT stuff and just crypto in general. I'm going to be expanding a little bit. I've also got a second channel that I haven't really posted on, but I'm going to, and that is TSG Stream Archives. I'll give that to you to put down as well. So essentially, I'm going to start a schedule where I post a video one day, alternate to streaming just a Web2 game that I want to play, maybe Harry Potter, maybe Simpsons Hit and Run, some nostalgic shit just for fun. And I'm just going to go between making a video, streaming, making a video and streaming, and just getting content on both sides. Because there are a lot of Web2 games that I'm still keen on, like Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic is getting a remake. Oh, I want to play that shit. Harry Potter, Matt, all the Harry Potter fans.
Oh, bro, the new Harry Potter game coming with open world. I'm so excited. Go on.
Hogwarts Legacy. I'm not going to lie. Yo, I started this content stuff. I was like, yo, I need to build a name for myself. So when that game comes out, I have an audience that wants to watch me play that. That was the goal. So definitely. So if you want to see me play shit like that, that's going to be on my stream archives. I'm just going to stream that. And yeah, man, apart from that, I'm going to be around doing podcasts and stuff. Just follow me on Twitter, man. You there's a lot. There's a lot. I'm not going to say everything. There's a lot. Yo, thank you. Thank you for having me on, man. I love this conversation. There was a couple of internet stuff. I apologize. I know it will be edited out, but it is what it is. But no, awesome questions, man. Awesome questions. And I'm glad that you shared your thoughts as well. So thank you. Thank you so much. Bro, I'll definitely reach out and have you on the podcast at some point as well.
Would love
if you'd
to.
be down.
Would love to. Dude, the conversation with you, this was amazing. So I can't wait for even more. So you guys check out TSG, check out his channel, check out his Twitter. Make sure you're listening to the podcast as well, listening to some more conversations regarding Web3 gaming, a lot of Illuvium, which I'm so excited about. So you guys like, comment, subscribe, all of that helps. Let's keep the conversation going down below in the comments. Let's chat some more Web3. With that said, thanks for watching. Thank you, TSG, once more for jumping on, and I'll see you guys in the next video.